Welcome to the Practical Guide to Autism Employment, brought to you by Autism Workforce Solutions. I am your host, Karina Gaudier, founder and CEO of Autism Workforce Solutions. On this podcast, we explore how together, employers, professionals, educational institutions, families, and autistic people can create more inclusive workplaces, unlock untapped talent, and connect people with meaningful opportunities to benefit everyone. Let's get into it. Hello guys, welcome back to my podcast, The Practical Guide to Autism Employment. My name is Karina. I am the CEO and founder of Autism Workforce Solutions. And today we have Bella and Jen from Matched Beyond Labels here. And they're going to talk a little bit about the amazing work they are doing. So many neurodivergent individuals receive robust structure during childhood and during education years. But I think there's a service cliff. Once you become an adult and you turn 18, all that help kind of disappears. So Bella, you founded Matched Beyond Labels from a very personal question, wondering what the kids that you used to work with were doing as now they are adults. What were the biggest barriers you saw neurodivergent adults facing traditional dating apps or the traditional dating scene? And how did that convince you to create Matched Beyond Labels?
Thank you, Karina, again for having us. The thing is that traditional apps can be very overwhelming, right? They're fast-paced. They're often first impression based on looks. They're full of unwritten social rules that don't apply for everyone, right? Many neurodivergent adults have told me that they had to often mask just to be able to fit in. Others experienced rejection because their communication styles, that they communicate differently or they need more time to build the trust. Some have told me that they've experienced being taken advantage of financially or otherwise. So it's just been a lot of negative experiences out there for them. And some of them have just said that they've just about stopped trying because of that. That's what inspired me to create Match Beyond Labels, because I wanted to create something that slows down the process and puts people first. We at Match Beyond Labels truly take the time to get to know each member, their personality, their communication style, their interests, their relationship goals, their sensory preferences, and whatever else makes them feel comfortable, right? So our approach is all much more supportive. We help arrange introductions, we prepare members when they need it, check in afterwards, we continue supporting them throughout the whole process. So something that the apps cannot give them. Sometimes those connections become romantic relationships and sometimes they become friendships. Both are great and both value opportunities for our members. At the heart of it, Karina, I just wanted to create a place where people could stop wondering if they are doing dating right and instead feel comfortable being exactly who they are.
That's amazing, and I think that's so needed. I think the neurodivergent community already goes through so much. I think that's a great idea, and you guys are doing a brilliant job. But also, I think the nature of pairing the matchmaking part or the part where you kind of find people, friendships or relationships with a clinical psychotherapist is amazing as well. That's where Jen came in. Jen, how does your clinical framework as a registered psychotherapist shape what Bella has been doing, and how do you two collaborate?
Hi, Karina. Yes, thank you for having me as well. Just to also add on to what Bella added about creating Match Beyond Labels. For so many years, I was helping neurodivergent individuals with skills, trying to gain the confidence to go out and make friendships, to go on dates, but there was never a place that felt safe. It would more be like, hey, try meeting somebody at the mall or whatever, and it was always a place where it was never felt like it was a safe place, and we didn't know who they were going to meet. And that's why when I heard about Match Beyond Labels, I was like, this is such an amazing, safe, and that's what I want to really express, the safe place where everybody's there going for the same reasons and going there with a lot of the experiences of being hurt in the past, being taken advantage of. And that's where I saw Match Beyond Labels being such a great combo of, hey, I'm here to teach skills and trying to help individuals be confident to be themselves and to take away those masks. And finding match beyond labels, people can go in and be their authentic selves. If somebody has a hobby they really love and they want to share about it, let's share about that hobby, right? As a psychotherapist, where I heard about Match Beyond Labels, and I thought this was a great combination, especially for neurodivergent individuals that were very anxious to go through the process of finding friends or dating.
In general, the traditional dating style or how people go about is you always put your best version, which normally for neurodivergent is what Bella said, it's translating into masking and not being ourselves, because that's not what neurotypical people would consider the best version of yourself. So suppressing that behavior goes hand in hand with the neurotypical social norms, which is horrible for us. I know your work is heavily centered on safe spaces and authenticity and welcoming rather than masking. What are some practical tools or strategies that you help the members with when it comes to being themselves?
Being your authentic self, where if somebody really loves a certain character and they're like, well, I don't want to tell people I like this character. And I'm like, if you want to wear a t-shirt that supports that you like this is a part of your personality, right? And I always say we don't ever want to take away your interest, because that's a part of who you are. And sometimes it's learning, instead of talking 2 hours about your personal interest, how can we make this more of a back and forth conversation, right? But not trying to belittle their interest. It's trying to go out and trying to be comfortable and trying to make sure that they're feeling like their authentic self. And a lot of it is building that confidence and knowing how to build that confidence. I feel proud that I really like knowing about birds, for example, and it's being proud of that and gaining the confidence to be able to form friendships with some of these common hobbies or with relationships and talking about it with passion.
That's amazing. I think it's so needed. I know I can go on and talk about video games or Warhammer for hours, and it's really hard to find people that understand that. So I think it's very great and so needed.
One of the unique things about Match Beyond Labels is we're not just introducing them, we're supporting them emotionally throughout this entire journey. So we spend a lot of time getting to know them. We build the trust with them. We know what they're looking for. We kind of be there to support them throughout the whole thing. And it's very common for them to feel nervous before meeting someone. That's the normal part of the process, right? But just knowing that there's someone there that they can go back to and get that extra support makes a huge difference for them. That's one thing that both me and Jen can give them on our own levels, and that's wonderful. And it's our biggest asset when we work together, I think.
What stands out the most to me is that you support not only the neurodivergent adults, but you also support their family. So they're highly involved in when they want to be. Bella, if you can expand on that when it comes to when the families are involved, how does your team still honor the independence, giving them that they are the ones making the decision, but also bringing in the family as another support system, giving them a peace of mind that their adult kid is being taken care of?
We do that in a very intentional way because our members are adults, like you said, and they deserve to be treated as adults, right? Their independence, their choices, and it's always with their consent that we speak with family members. So it depends on if they want the family member involved or not. So it always goes based on their preferences. That's always our number one. But at the same time, you have to remember that families have spent years supporting their loved ones. And naturally, they want the reassurance, they want to feel comfortable that their loved one is in a safe space and that they're valued. And they also want to know their role in it. They want to know, how can I also support in addition? If a family member is involved, per the request of our member, then we help answer any questions that they might have. We provide them assurances about the process so that they feel more comfortable. Ultimately, we're helping people build independence, confidence, and healthy relationships. So one of the most rewarding moments, like seeing a family realize that their loved one is making their own choices, building their own relationships, growing in confidence. It's an amazing feeling for a parent. For example, I have one mom that recently called me and said that her son used to have so much anxiety when he came to events to the point where he would throw up. And now, only months into our program, he's looking forward to events, and she's able to actually get him to go to other events, not just ours. And she's seen a huge growth in him just over a short period of time. And that's just amazing. And that's where we have to work together with the family and get that feedback and be able to help each other so that the member benefits. Yes, as much as they're adults and it's all about them, your family involvement is very, very important. And that's where actually when everyone is involved, that's when we see how much is possible and how much we can actually really accomplish together.
And I think also it can be a bit difficult. I know it was for my parents to see that your kid as an adult, their needs are still there. They're just a bit different. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job with that type of collaboration between the family and the kid. I think that's amazing, especially when it comes to dating apps now that rely so much on unwritten social cues or unwritten social communications or whatever it is. It's so difficult, and a lot of our traumas do come from being misunderstood just because we communicate very differently. This question is for both of you, either of you, whoever wants to answer. But when you do an introduction or you do a workshop, because I know you guys now are offering the workshops, what traditional rules of dating or socializing you guys don't use, and like what does that introduction look like in a practical sense? How do you guys know who to match with and why not?
Well, I'll start off with any workshop that I offer. I'll always try to make people feel comfortable, where there's some individuals that don't want to turn their camera on. That's a big thing because they're very shy. You don't need to turn your camera on. If somebody does not want to share or participate and they just would rather listen during a workshop, that is okay. Or sometimes I'll say, hey, if people don't feel comfortable sharing out loud, is there an opportunity? Would you like to share it in the chat box? And some people prefer to type it out, right? As a perspective, as a psychotherapist running workshops, where I'm never trying to tell somebody, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's more of what makes you feel comfortable, because you're ultimately, people are taking workshops because they want to gain a skill. And if they're afraid and quite anxious or nervous, we're not able to learn that way. For me, I always try to make it very relaxed, more of a conversation. Yes, it's a workshop where things are being taught, but this is more of a laid back format. That's how I usually like to go about it.
Amazing.
And when it comes to introductions, just to add on to Jen's, what she's saying is absolutely true. And I use that same approach when doing introductions. And one of the biggest things that we want to let go of is that there's a right way to date or socialize. Because society already, like how we said before, already created so many unwritten rules. You have to make eye contact. You have to avoid being silent. You have to keep the conversation going and flowing. You have to go to dinner on your first date. I don't know. Many different things like that, which is not true. It doesn't have to be like that. Our neuroaffirming approach always starts with recognizing that everyone communicates differently. Some people need more processing time. Some people need quieter environment, right? Some people would not do good in a coffee shop, let's say. They need to move around, they need to do something, so we'll send them to something interactive, like a bowling alley or something where they can do an activity, right? Mini golf, whatever. Our approach is very different and very personalized, but we also don't see all of these things as obstacles. We see them as part of what makes each person unique. We encourage our members always to be themselves. If they want to participate when they come for in-person events, let's say, or even online, if they want to participate, amazing. If they don't want to, and if they just want to sit and observe, great, no problem. If they feel like they need to leave or take a break or it gets overwhelming and it's too much for them, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Basically, we just try to meet them where they're at. We stay involved with them throughout the process by helping them arrange introductions, checking with them afterwards, and we just support them throughout the whole experience, right? Really, our philosophy has always been that we create an experience that fits our members at their own pace, at their own preferences. Each member is on their own journey. We are just here to support them where they're at.
I think this is very important because society does not respect our boundaries or does not see us as someone that deserves to have a different environment or someone that is there that just functions differently, right? They're always trying to put us in that little box, and that doesn't work for us. I know you both are very outspoken about being advocates for the neurodiverse community and to create that connection. You both can answer the next question as well if you like, but if you could change one fundamental misconception that the public or your typical partners hold about neurodivergent adults and their capacity for intimacy or a friendship, what would it be? And what is your vision for the future of Match Beyond Labels?
I'm sure we can both answer it, and we should. But for me personally, if I could change one misconception, it would be the belief that neurodivergent adults don't want to or aren't capable of deep, meaningful relationships, because that is just not true at all. I see that with our members day in and day out. Our members want the same thing that most of us do. They want someone to laugh with. They want someone to celebrate life with. They want someone to share their milestones, to be there for them during difficult times, someone who accepts them exactly for who they are. The way they communicate might be different, but it doesn't mean that their ability to love or to care or to build lasting relationships is less. It's not. I think society needs to focus less on the diagnosis and see the person, inside. When we stop making assumptions and getting to know each other as individuals, incredible things can happen. Our members are amazing, each and every one of them, and we're seeing them develop these blossoming relationships and their confidence transforming, and it's just amazing. It feels great. I can talk a little bit more about the vision of Match Beyond Labels, but maybe Jen.
I think that society's misconception is that certain individuals are too much, or they're never going to find somebody that loves the same things or has the same common interests, and it's like they're never going to find that person, and that's completely untrue. That's why Match Beyond Labels, they're bringing together people that we can show their authentic selves and show their interests. And so I think that the misconception of some people are too much or they need accommodation, when certain group of people come in with Match Beyond Labels, where it's like, hey, a lot of these individuals, there's certain like sensory issues or certain preferences, and they sort of bond over those things that the society has been told that they're too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And my vision for Match Beyond Labels, to answer your second part of your question, Karina, is to expand our community so that neurodivergent adults and their families know that there's a place that they belong, that there's a community for them where they're accepted for who they are, a place where they don't have to mask. They can just come as they are, where friendships can grow into relationships, and that's our biggest hope for them. So for me, success has never been about the number of matches that we make. It's about hearing someone say, for example, oh, wow, this is the first time I felt like I belong somewhere. Or one of my members recently told me, wow, I've never experienced this feeling. And what's happening when he was flirting with a girl and she agreed to meet up on a date with him for the first time. It's just these little moments, it's worth everything that we're doing. And it's hearing these things from our members that truly defines the success and the vision, having more impact with more people in the future.
I think it's very unique in a very needed service that everybody should be knowing about. If you guys can share, where can the listeners find you?
People can go on our website at www.matchbeyondlabels.com and book a discovery call with us. They can read all about it. Also, we're on Instagram and Facebook. We are offering the workshops, as you mentioned. People can join those as well. They don't even have to be members to join the workshops. Give us a call. We're happy to talk to you.
Okay, and then your socials, the handles are
match_beyond_labels.
okay. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you
That's
guys for
on
being
Instagram.
here, and we're gonna continue this work. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to learn more, go to my website, Autism Workforce Solutions. Follow us on Instagram, podcast, or YouTube. Handle is Autism Workforce Solutions. And remember, cognitive diversity isn't something to be managed. It's just something to be understood, supported, and celebrate. See you next time.